Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we cover a lot of TV boxes here on the channel, and today I wanted to talk about an issue that I'm seeing bubbling up across multiple platforms that I think might negatively impact consumers. And today we're going to look at how an Apple TV, a Roku, and a Fire TV handle something called deep linking. Now before we jump into this, you should definitely check out this article on my friend Elias Saba's site called aftvnews.com, where he talks about a new Amazon policy that is prohibiting apps from linking to other apps. And this sounds kind of innocuous on the surface, but there's a lot of apps that make use of this deep linking to make it easier for you to find and keep track of the things that you're watching. So for example, Plex, who in full disclosure was a sponsor here on the channel, added a really nice feature called Watch List that allows you to add shows that you want to watch to a list. And then what it will do is show you where you can watch those shows. So for example, if I click on Curb Your Enthusiasm here and we jump into the watch list page for it, I can keep track of where I'm at in each of these seasons. And if I wanted to watch the most recent episode that I haven't seen yet, I can go over to season 11 here. And as you can see, I watched episodes 1 and 2, but not episode 3. And if I click on episode 3, it will tell me in Plex where I can watch it. So I can watch it with a subscription on HBO Max, or I can buy the episode on any one of these platforms. But let's click on HBO Max here and see what happens. And as you can see here, it pulls up the HBO app and brings me right to the episode so I can start watching it. So I don't have to navigate the HBO interface. I'm dropped off right here to get that episode loaded up. Now this is on the Apple TV. And what you just saw is something that was deep linked from another app. And there are other apps that you can use like Plex, namely Reelgood and Just Watch, that also do similar things. And these apps can also be helpful for finding perhaps some old obscure show that you haven't thought about in a while. So for example, here's one called Earth Final Conflict. And I did a search for it on the Just Watch app, again using the Apple TV here. And if we jump into it, not only did we find it, but we've got 3 different places to watch it. And so for example, if I go over to the Freevee option here, what it will do is bring me right to the app where I can start watching this old show. And this is a show that started off great in its first season and then went on for many more seasons, but it was not nearly as good. But still, if you were looking for something, this is a great way to find it. And these apps, I think, often work better than the built-in search that a lot of these boxes use. Now before we go too much further, I do want to make my usual disclosures, and the first of course is that Plex, as I mentioned, is a sponsor here on the channel, but they are not sponsoring this video, nor did they review or approve anything you're about to see before it was uploaded, and in fact I never even contacted them about this issue. I'm going off of what I read from AFTV News and a few other news sites, and of course what we're about to see when we try to use this Plex watch list feature on an Amazon Fire device. Nobody else is paying for this video either, so all of the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Most of the boxes that we're using today I purchased with my own funds, although the Roku stick that we'll be using for the Roku portion of this video was provided by Roku free of charge about a year or 2 ago, but of course they're having no part of this video either insofar as its editorial content is concerned. So without further ado, let's continue on. Now I found in all of my testing that the Apple TV seems to work the most reliably when it comes to deep linking. And I found on the Android TV platform, and that includes the Chromecast with Google TV, the deep linking just wasn't as reliable. Sometimes it would just not work. Other times it would take you to the Google Play Store for the app versus actually launching the app. So it wasn't the best experience, but it did seem to work some of the time, just not all of the time. The worst one, though, I found so far has been Roku. And let me load up my Plex app here and show you what happens when you try to deep link inside of a Roku app. So here we are on the Roku platform, again inside of Plex, inside of our watch list. Incidentally, Reelgood and Just Watch are not on Roku because it doesn't support deep linking at all and never has. And so if we go to another episode here, let's pick out one just randomly from one of the seasons here. And if we go over to maybe episode 4 and click on HBO Max, you're going to see that we just get a list of apps. But because Roku does not allow deep linking, you have to go to that app and search yourself. So although you can update your watch list to let Plex know that you saw the episode, it's not going to drop you off there directly. But the Roku platform does allow for deep linking, but only if you use their search. So for example, let's look for Earth Final Conflict. Earth Final Conflict. And so we're going to invoke the Roku search, and sure enough, we're going to get actually a pretty extensive list here of where we can find the show. So for example, if I go over to Pluto TV here, that is going to take us into the Pluto app and presumably drop us off right on Pluto. But I have to use their search. I can't use somebody else's. Now, Roku does give me a good search result today, but that doesn't mean it's going to be great tomorrow. And the only real search engine I can use with deep linking on Roku is the Roku search. So you can see how locked in you might be as a consumer. Now, if you are searching for something that is on Plex's streaming services here, of course, you can get to that through the Plex streaming component, but I can't get to any of those other services here because the Roku simply does not allow deep linking. Now that brings us to the Fire TV, and this is a platform that had some of these alternative apps on it, unlike the Roku. So for example, if we go over to Reelgood, things still look like they're working as usual, but as you'll see here when we start digging in, stuff is not working like it was. So for example, if I go over here to Earth Final Conflict, I can play it on Tubi, for example, but if I try to play it on Tubi, I get this warning here. The same thing happens now when I try to play something on HBO Max. It gives me an error message here saying that something went wrong and to go to the app directly. And also, what you'll see here with Plex is a similar message that we saw on the Roku side. Now, some deep linking is still working here on Reelgood on the Amazon platform. So for example, if I go into Stranger Things, which of course is a Netflix show, and maybe we select season 1, episode 5 here, if I click play on Netflix, it does in fact invoke the Netflix app. And most of the time I'm finding it drops me off in the right spot. But I think the days of deep linking here on the Amazon platform are numbered, at least if that AFTV news article is correct, and I suspect that it is. Now, Amazon also has a universal search, so let's look for our favorite show here, Earth Final Conflict. And let's see what kind of result we get. So here we go. It did find the show. I'm going to click on that. And what I've got, first of all, is the ability to play it back, but this is going to play it back on Amazon's free service first. That's the first result that is baked in here to the play button. If I want to see where else I can find it, I can go here to more ways to watch. Now you'll recall on the Roku side, we had many more options available to us than we have here. In fact, we only have what looks like maybe 3 options for watching this for free, maybe 4, whereas on the Roku side we had many more options, and the only 2 buy options here are the options to buy it from Amazon directly, not from any of their competitors. So this shows you how a search engine can be directed to benefit the maker of the box to make more money as opposed to giving you, the user, the best search result. So in summation here, it looks like deep linking works the best on the Apple TV platform. Android sort of worked, but it wasn't all that reliable. It's not supported on Roku at all. And as we're reading about, the Fire TV platform is likely going to get rid of it. So the boxes that are the most dependent on advertising seem to be the ones that are getting rid of this feature, although the one that is the most expensive, that doesn't have as much of an advertising reliance, the Apple TV, seems to do it the best. Either way, I would prepare yourself for this feature to go away across most of these major platforms because search results are very lucrative. And I think these boxes are highly subsidized given their low price points to try and earn more revenue off of you as a user over the course of your ownership. So Reelgood and Just Watch and Plex are all still going to work. You're still going to be able to look for content on them, but that convenience of a one click to get to what you want to watch, I think is a feature that unfortunately may not be around all that much longer. That's going to do it for now. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Brian Parker, Chris Allegretta, Hot Sauce and Video Games, Logic KGR, Tom Albrecht, and Amda Brown. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.